And for more on the upcoming Mali elections, I'm joined by Nii Akuetteh. He's part of the Democracy and Conflict Research Institute. Mr. Akuetteh, welcome back to the show.
It's a pleasure to be back. Thank you.
You know, a lot of issues are being reported leading up to the election on Sunday. Do you think Mali is heading to the polls too soon?
I do believe that. I have said that for more than 16 months. Last year, June, I was saying to Congress when the State Department were saying, let them have elections, and they were in the middle of a war. So I do think France and the United States have been pushing for elections, in my opinion, for far too quickly. Now, they do advance reasons. The other thing that must be said also that there are a lot of Malians, maybe even a majority, who say they are so fed up that with regimes that they didn't elect, so they would like to elect their own. But as an observer of African elections and conflict in Africa and democracy in Africa, I worry that this one is being done too quickly. But at this point, we have to just keep our fingers crossed and hope that it goes well.
When do you think would be a more appropriate time, if you could say?
Yeah, if I could say, it would be actually, I would list the things that have to be made sure we do them right before we come to election. So it's not a strict timetable, it's just a number of important tasks that must be completed. For instance, Mali has been at war, so a lot of people have been displaced. 400,000 people have been displaced from northern Mali into southern Mali, and then into 3 neighboring countries. And a lot of those people don't have their papers to be able to register. If I had my way, I also look at, Mali used to be such an exemplary democracy, and then it sort of collapsed. So I would like to find out, look at the constitution. I mean, do a postmortem and see what went wrong, how can we correct it? So those two are 2 very important things I would have done first.
So do it right, not right now. Depending on the outcome, though, of this election, do you still think Mali is headed along a more stable path than it was before? I
think so, because even though I do think that the elections were being held too quickly, I am all for elections. In fact, I think elections are the foundation of democracy. They are not the only thing, but you need that as a foundation. All of Africa, Mali needs democracy. So yes, if they have it, and if there are no very bad outcomes, and if the political class and the people accept it, then it will be good. Mali will be on its way. So actually, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, hoping that those who lose will not create trouble, and that Malians at large will say, yes, this was good enough, because nobody says, even those pushing for it are saying, we know it won't be perfect. So the question is, will it be good enough?
What is the best case scenario then? If that's the worst case scenario, what is the best case scenario that could come out of Sunday's election?
Well, elections are always full of surprises. No one who can claim that they can predict elections. So the best hope, the best outcome will be that it goes cleanly, and that someone wins massively, and the opposition and the rivals accept it. For me, if somebody wins, because if no one wins, gets more than 50%, they have to do it again in 2 weeks on August 11. And of course, that means more money and more anxiety. So my best hope is they have a clean election, everybody accepts it, and somebody comes out who has the mandate of the people.
15 seconds. Who do you think the winner will be?
That's a tough one. I think most people on the ground think that Mr. Keita, Boubacar Keita, is likely to win but won't get 50%, and therefore it will go to a runoff. A lot of people think that Mr. Sissoko will come in second, but Mr. Keita be winning first is what most people are saying, I think.
All right. Mr. Nii Akuetteh, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.